Welcome back to Cellar. This week we are tasting wines from Missouri, of all places. And Bob, what do you have for us here? What's up?
St. James Winery is probably the most famous winery in Missouri, high-quality wines. This is the Norton grape, which discovered by Daniel Norton in Virginia back in the 1800s. And again, this is a native grape to America. Nowhere else in the world it's the Vitis aestivalis, as opposed to the vinifera grapes.
When are we going to taste it? I'm tired of talking about it.
All right, let's taste right now. To be more confusing, it's a Norton grape, and sometimes they call it Synthenia. So if you see Synthenia, it sort of looks like Cynthia. And what they do at St. James Winery, the Synthenia is the more feminine style, so they finish it a little bit lighter and more delicate. The Norton is heavier. The grape, the nature of this grape, has really good color, but it's not, it doesn't have the heavy like tannins, the puckeriness, Bob.
This is a Synthenia.
And it's a fruit bomb.
Gosh, it smells really incredible. It's gotten better. It opened up a little bit since we, of course, we opened it up. And the vacuum vent here, these little rubber stoppers are a wonderful thing, because if any of you don't have but one wine drinker in the family, or whatever your situation is, one person in the family, you can have a glass of wine and seal it back up. And what this does, air is the enemy of wine. It oxidizes wine. And if you can pour your glass in and take the air out of the bottle, it really preserves it. And this held up quite nicely. So this is just a wonderful bouquet. It's just so nice. And
Now, this would be fun to brown bag with somebody. Oh, you can get the Norton grape, Synthenia. Also, if you're traveling, because we're here in Florida and a lot of people go up north during the summertime, there's a lot of wineries that make this up in North Carolina, in Tennessee, Virginia, in Maryland. Stop in any of the wineries up there. Search out for the Norton grape. You'll love it. Yeah, to me, it's almost like a cross. You know, Merlot should be kind of a fruit bomb, but soft in tannins. This, to me, if I was tasting it blind, I would think someone had a Merlot mixed in a little bit of Zinfandel, because there's a lot of spice. And you mentioned cinnamon last night. There's cinnamon in this.
Cinnamon. I mean, it's amazing, because sometimes if you grow a Cabernet, it's like trying to grow oranges in Ohio. I mean, it's not going to work out. It's not an orange-producing state. And the same way with different European varieties, they just don't do as well out of an improper regions, shall we say. But this Norton seems to do very well because it's in his native spot. So it's here. It's actually indigenous to here. So it grows well, and it just tastes incredible. I was shocked. I was shocked. So if you're cruising up the coast and you pull into a little winery and you see Norton, I would have it over the Cabernet or Merlot or anything else they have there.
I think the airport in Charlotte, North Carolina, they have a wine bar in there, and they taste, I think, exclusively North Carolina wines. So there's got to be some Norton in there if you're traveling as well.
Yeah, this is delicious.
Check out the Reserve. Now, this is from St. James Winery in Missouri. This is their Reserve Norton. Reserve, somebody asked me the question the other night, what's the difference between a regular wine and a Reserve? Reserve, extra care is taken in the vineyards, and extra care is taken in the winery to make a more concentrated wine. Usually it's bigger, richer.
And it's a winemaker's decision. Sometimes as, you know, have you ever grown a garden and maybe you're growing a plot of tomatoes, and the tomato plants on one side of the garden look so much better than the tomato plants on the other side of the garden. Maybe it's the amount of sun they get, or the soil, or the amount of rain, or whatever, who knows. But the same thing happens when you produce wine, and sometimes a winemaker in a field will recognize that fact, that these grapes over here are doing well, and I'm going to make Reserve wine out of it.
Bob, try this Reserve. This is a Norton Reserve from St. James Winery in Missouri. To me, now it's, again, we opened these last night, used the vacuum vent to preserve it, suck out some of the air. And to me, this is hints of Zinfandel. Zinfandel sometimes will have a diesel kind of characteristic, and but it's rich, and it's a fruit bomb. And anybody that says, oh, I want a red wine but not too dry, this is not that dry because it's lower in tannins, but it's just jammed with fruit.
Surprisingly good, my friend. Once again, you've turned me on to something that I wouldn't have tasted in a million years. If I would have walked into ABC and saw a bottle of Norton there, you couldn't have paid me to pick
say,
it up.
what is this?
Now, this is real tasty. I thank you for turning me on once again to something.
If anybody out there is traveling to the wineries up in the east, North Carolina, Tennessee, up that way, please grab an extra bottle or two for me. Bring it to the station, leave it off, and we'll talk about
We'd
you.
like to taste about it. Yeah, that'll be a good challenge to everybody going on vacation this summer. Grab us a bottle of wine to taste on Cellar to Cellar.
I want to thank Mary Malone and also Bonnie out at the winery at St. James. She actually shipped these to us. You can call the St. James Winery and have it shipped to Florida. It is actually legal, so it can be done.
Just Google them, St. James Winery, and bingo, they pop right up. Isn't the internet wonderful?
All right, let's take a break, Bob, then we'll go further west. We're going to leave the Mississippi River and go out Pacific Northwest. We'll be right back.